Forget whatever happened gambling-wise over the weekend, unless you won. It's Monday, it's a new week, and we have what many are going to call the greatest game of all time tonight. Maybe not, but it does feel good when we try and talk ourselves into a game. Honestly, I can get behind the Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears being good tonight. That's because we can gamble on it, and I have the greatest bet of all time on this thing. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but first, do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel. Obviously, you're going to do it anyways, because we're all going to get filthy rich tonight. I'm just saving you a step here. Turn on the notifications too. That way, you never miss another show or live stream for as long as you live. Feels like the move here. Anyways, the move that we'll tell all of our grandkids about one day is DJ Moore, 6+ receptions, plus 142 at FanDuel. Holy shit, I can't believe the books are letting us do this. It honestly feels like stealing. The only thing I'm afraid of with this thing is FanDuel is not going to pay anybody because they're going to say it's an obvious error. Still, I'm doing it anyways. Let's talk a little bit about DJ Moore. He's filthy. Probably one of the best receivers in the game today. He can run any route, beat any corner, and the guy can catch a BB in the dark. We're talking the total package here. And nobody knows that more than Justin Fields because he targets him pretty much every time he throws the ball. In the last 3 full games that Fields played with Moore, he's targeted Moore at least 9 times in all of them. He knows what he's working with here. And one of those games was the night that Moore had like 1,000 receiving yards against the Commanders. We all saw him do it. Here's the thing. I don't know about yards tonight, but I do know that DJ Moore is going to be catching passes. For starters, I don't think the Bears are going to be able to run the ball against the Minnesota Vikings tonight. The Vikings are 4th in the entire NFL in opponent yards per carry. I know that's a dumb stat, but it's not completely useless. It does tell some kind of story. Just last week, the Vikings were stuffing Javonte Williams like he was a turkey. Guy looked like a little kid out there. Alvin Kamara even had trouble against Minnesota the week before that. Even if the Bears can run on Minnesota, I still think they get behind and they'll be forced to throw. That's when the magic happens. The Vikings blitz all the time. We're talking most in the NFL. It's almost weird to watch. Because of that, I think we see a bunch of short passes. They don't cover a ton of yards, but the receptions come real quick. That's just how teams fight off a blitz. You don't have time to be looking downfield. The stats show it too. In fact, only 4 teams in the entire NFL have given up more receptions to the wide receiver position than the Minnesota Vikings. One of those teams has even played more games than Minnesota. Now, I don't know if DJ Moore is going to set the single game record for receptions tonight, but I do know he's catching way more than 6. Feels right. Now, obviously, we're not going into tonight with just one bet. We're better than that. That's why I threw together the greatest underdog slip on the planet tonight. If you don't have Underdog, you can still bet these things at sportsbooks, so relax. If you don't have it but still want to get it, use promo code SLOPRULES and it'll change your life. It changed mine just yesterday, so I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Underdog is a fixed odds fantasy site that lets you put in correlated slips. As you know, if you play at sportsbooks, they dock you odds-wise whenever your slips are correlated. What I mean is they don't pay out as much. Not at the DFS sites. They pay the same whether the slips are correlated or not. I like to call that awesome. Now, 3-leg slips on Underdog are my favorite, and tonight, it's never been easier to put one of these things together. This one's not 100% correlated, but it kind of is since we're not using passing yards or receiving yards for our quarterback wide receiver stack. You'll see what I mean in a second. First leg is obviously DJ Moore over 4.5 receptions. We already talked about that one. That's like a free square. Next leg, TJ Hawkinson, over 60.5 receiving yards. All the sports books are hanging 63.5 on this thing, so we're getting a deal here. The Bears give it up to the tight end position like it's their job. I know Hawk only got 50 yards against them last time, but that was the first game without Justin Jefferson. It was a weird time for everybody. Plus, Kirk Cousins was still playing back then, and now we have Josh Dobbs. Dobbs is a tight end friendly guy. Has been his whole life. And I doubt the Vikings are going to run on the Bears, so if that's the case, it's TJ time. 60.5 yards, honestly, looks like a first half line to me. Finally, Justin Fields over 9.5 rush attempts. The last time these two teams met, Fields got hurt. He only played half that game, but he still had like 8 carries. We already talked about the Minnesota blitz, and I think that's going to lead to a few runs. The Vikings might blitz a lot, but their pressure rate still isn't that good. It's not like guys are getting home. I think there's going to be multiple plays where the pressure doesn't quite get there, and Fields just takes off running. If that happens, he'll carry the ball 10 times tonight. He's coming off a game where he ran the thing 18 times. The guy knows how to use his legs. He's got this. I'll see you guys on the live stream later. Don't forget to turn on the notifications.